Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, or the Think Park Evangelist. So, I am doing this new YouTube series I just started last week titled How I Met Katie. For those of you who do not know who Katie is, she is my girlfriend, soon to be fiance. And speaking of which, she just messaged me goodnight. So I'm going to go ahead and react to it for now. So, anyway, in the very first episode, if you have never seen it yet, which I would strongly recommend you do, by the way, Katie basically came into my life from Eastern North Carolina. She started working in the Ark back in August of 2021, which is so almost 5 months, or roughly 5 months after I had started working there, and I'm gonna put that out of the way. Sorry, I am very uncomfortable right now, so you'll have to just bear with me. And while I was working at the ARG, I fell in love with her. I mentioned in my very first one um, why I fell in love with her, so to speak, and I mentioned how I started developing a crush on her, and the very first time I really ever got to know her, which was through Christmas time, which is a an annual event that you can attend at the Ark Encounter every Christmas. So now we are moving on to winter of 2022, which was last winter, and soon there will be two winters ago, believe it or not. So yeah, more or less, the winter of 2022, I still stayed employed with Answers in Genesis. I was in the process of trying to get over to guest services. My boss at the time, he was like, "Oh heck, no, you ain't going nowhere. You're staying right here," and culinary. So I was like, whatever. But the nice thing was, I was pretty much their new permanent Deck 2 employee. And the other nice thing was, I was pretty much guaranteed hours during the winter, so winter was pretty boring back in 2022. While Katie was back in Eastern North Carolina spending time with her family and friends, I would basically come into work and I would grab my radio, I grab my till, I grab a decently small one, and I would make sure I had a book on me, and I would head up to Deck 2 as soon as I knew everything was set up, ready to go, and I had everything cleaned. I grabbed a book and I would sit down and I would just read the entire shift, and it was pretty quiet. I mean, the only thing you could really hear were the heaters, and sometimes I would walk over and I would talk to my great friend Kevin. Sometimes I would talk to some of the guest services supervisors. And the month of January went by, and then February came along, and I'm starting to get concerned because I'm like, man, I still haven't heard from Katie yet, and I don't know when she's coming back, and finally started going like asking, is Katie coming back yet? Is Katie coming back yet? Is Katie coming back yet? And they're like, nope, yet, not yet. Well, late February came along, and ironically, the day before I was supposed to leave for Central Florida, I got to do something really cool. So we had Peter Furler, the former lead singer of Newsboys at the Answer Center, and of all days, I was something called a cash breaker for culinary that day, so they had me running everywhere, and I even got to go over the Answer Center twice and just cover a couple of breaks. So it was a good day. It was very busy that day for a winter day, but I was really happy it was going by fast because I knew I was going to be leaving early that next morning for Central Florida. I honestly felt my gut instinct telling me I shouldn't go, and God was definitely telling me I shouldn't go, and part of me was like, I'm gonna go anyway, and I end up regretting it in quite a bit of ways, but it's here or there. I mean, it's happened, and I can't undo what's already been done. So I came back, and Katie's still not back yet. I'm getting discouraged. I'm like, ah. But the good news is, when I got back, I pretty much found out almost right away that I was going to be going over to guest services. And at this point, I'm just like, waiting it out, waiting it out. And what kind of concerned me, but I shouldn't take this the wrong way, they had me come in for the culinary training, which to me didn't make a lot of sense because of the fact that I was getting ready to leave culinary and go over to guest services. At this point, I have had it with culinary. I can't do this anymore. But I shouldn't be too upset because my boss did give me the opportunity to make some more hours, and I couldn't complain. And I got some free food out of the deal, so. But I was just so negative. I was just like, ugh, get me out of this. And the next day, I was so happy. I came in the answer center. I was so loud. I was like, yes, I finally started getting guest services, which was Sunday, March 13th, back when we were open every single Sunday. Now it's only during the summer months. And that's going to pretty much be a permanent thing until further notice. And I believe Katie was just about to come back or had just come back, and or if I'm not mistaken, Katie did come back because I remember I was in culinary when she did come back. Now I remember because I was working at deck 2 one day. I honestly didn't even know she was coming back. So deck 2 snacks is by far the busiest snack stand on the Ark. It's actually one of the busiest locations on Ark property, believe it or not. And I was just kind of over there minding my own business. I have to backtrack a little bit, but that's okay. And I heard her voice, and I was like, is that Katie? And I don't know what it is about Katie, but she just has a very distinguishable voice, and I've always listened for it very carefully over the years. And I may not always be able to be there right away for her, even though she wants it. But if I'm available, I try to be there for her. And I look up, there she is, and I was so excited to see her. I ran to her and I gave her a hug. I was just like, yes, you're back. I'm so happy to see you again. And I officially met her dad, Dan, for the very first time. We spoke for like 10 minutes. Now, Katie didn't hang out a whole lot. She and her mom, Jenny, walked off, and then Katie was like, where's Dad at? And there's her dad still talking to me, and she's like, oh boy, there's Dad talking to David still. Of course, at the time, Katie did stop and think, I better get used to this. Dad's gonna be talking to David quite a bit for the rest of my life. But nobody really knows what their future is gonna look like until it happens. So Katie went and got her dad, and I was just so happy to know she was back. I was just like, thank goodness. And then later on, she found out that I was in guest services. So there was this joke going around that David had gone to guest services. just to be with Katie, and part of that was true. But there was also another side of the coin to that, which was that I just never want to go culinary in the first place, but God had other plans. And guest services has always been my passion. I mean, for crying out loud, I'm still in guest services. I didn't decide to just quit Answers in Genesis and go work for Photo Effects when Katie had to start working for Photo Effects. And I'm still working for Answers in Genesis. I'm still in guest services. And I'm happy about it. I really am. So, yeah. But anyway, I remember one of the earlier days when Katie and I were just friends, I was doing Deck 1 Greeter. So I was the very first one to work Deck 1 Greeter. I worked very closely with Deck 1 Reynolds. And that's another one of the reasons why I got to know guest services so well, is because when we would work together on Deck 1, I used to just chit chat with them quite a bit. And we became really good friends that way. And, excuse me, when I first found out I was going to be working Deck 1 Greeter, I was like, wait, I thought it was Deck 1 Reynolds. And then they said, oh, we're eliminating Deck 1 Reynolds altogether. We're just going to have it outside or over at the Answer Center. I'm like, okay, so what am I going to be doing? And they said, you'll figure it out. And I'm like, well, that's reassuring. So April is not just Katie's birthday month, it's Kay's, it's Vanita's, it's my mother's. And the entire month of April, more or less, I was working down on Deck 1 pretty much every single day. And it was discouraging. And it was lonely. And I put up with it every single day. But it is what it is. I had some really good conversations with God, though, that month. I really did. But there was one particular day that really stood out to me back in April of last year. And I don't know if it was Katie's birthday or not. I really don't remember now. But I remember Katie was I think Katie was Deck 2 that day. And I caught her wandering around on Deck 1 when she wasn't supposed to be. Now, back then, not only did I not know of her rebelliousness, which of course I have rebelliousness too, I should admit it, nor did I know I was going to be dating her eventually, nor did I know I was going to be getting engaged to her, let alone getting married to her. And I just got a little upset that she was down there, and she got a little feisty with me. And I got a little upset about it. And I did something I will never do again. I ratted her out to management. I've only done it one time to her, and she's already forgiven me. And you know what's funny about this whole thing? Even if she just suddenly died on me tomorrow, I'm not upset about it anymore because I already know she's forgiven me. There have been so many times that Katie and I have hurt each other over the past year, but yet Katie and I have forgiven each other every single time, no matter what. And that's one reason why I'm at peace if she suddenly were to die tonight or tomorrow. I'm at peace knowing that our love, I cannot talk for the life of me. We have unconditional love for each other. I can go through the rest of my life knowing that she died, knowing that I loved her. Or if I died, she can die knowing that I loved her. And that's more or less how I feel. Like, there's a lot of times when people lose a significant other, they're like, I don't know, she knew how much I loved her. But I know with Katie, she knows I love her. It doesn't matter if she's still alive. It doesn't matter whether God takes her tonight or not. I know in my heart that she knows that I love her. And she knows that she loves me. And she knows that I know that too. I mean, obviously, she knows that she loves me, but she also knows in her heart that I love her and whatever. But anyway, you get the point. I'm getting my own self confused here. And that's something I really just wanted to hit on was the fact that I made that mistake, but I no longer feel guilty about it. I don't. And to be honest, what happened next I was not expecting at all. And I hate to do this to you guys, but I am going to leave you guys on a cliffhanger and make you wait until the next episode. And it's not just because it's late, but because I want to make this as long as possible. And I'm going to just go ahead and tell you guys up front that each situation that I'm going to tell you guys about in each episode, God allowed to happen for a reason. And you're going to kind of see how the relationship pieced together through each circumstance. And honestly, I thank God for every single thing that happened. I really do. There's a reason why God has everything happen that He does. I really believe it. But anyway, so the next time that I know for a fact that I will be vlogging is Saturday night. For those of you who do not know, I'm going to be going back out to Kings Island Saturday night to vlog Halloween Haunt for their final night. And this time, my vlog will feature Danny and Daniel. And unfortunately, there will be no more Kings Island vlogs until Winterfest starts. I will not be able to make it out to Tricks and Treats again this year due to Katie's big move to Indiana. And I should also note I will be continuing vlogging this series again next Monday. So I am off next Monday for the first time since Labor Day. And today was my first Tuesday off in 5 months. So I will see you guys in the next vlog. And always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great night. Peace out.